Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. We're doing the Parrot ANAFI today. We're going to give this thing a full-on flight test. Hopefully you don't get rained on. It just started kind of sprinkling. But we're going to test the ANAFI today. I got 2 batteries you can see here. And I got my daughter Sanaya. She's here to ride the hoverboard, the Halo hoverboard X, the new one. So she's going to zoom around. We're going to try to track her with some of these cool functions this has, and we're going to try to go through as many options as possible, as much as 2 batteries can do in this video. So sit back, relax, and let's get started with the flight test of the Parrot ANAFI. Okay, so first things first, we need to get this thing kind of set up. So we're going to do kind of a real-time setup here. So I got the ANAFI in its package here. And really all we need to do is take it out of this its box here. Also need to take off the lens cap, of course. There we go. So real easy with the ANAFI. We're just unfolding the legs, super quick, a lot faster than a lot of the other portable drones. And that's all we need to do. I'm hoping it's going to clear this this little launch pad. Looks like it's good. We still have a lot of clearance from the gimbal, so that's great. And then right when we open up our controller, it kind of turns the controller on, and I'm just going to be using my Android phone and recording the screen for you guys today on this phone here. I totally forgot we need the USB cable from this package. So before you throw that back into your spot, maybe put the lens cap in and take your USB cable out, and then you're set to go. A USB cable in the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the ANAFI first, just one quick press. Let's see how this gimbal kind of boots up. When we turn it on, it should do like a self-initialization. You can see it there, and that's it. That thing's ready to go. And then all we do is make sure our controller's on when we open it, our phone's on. I'm going to start recording on my phone for you guys. And I'm going to plug from the ANAFI controller right into my phone, and it should auto start Free Flight 6, the new one you're going to have to download for the ANAFI. And that's automatically starting up. And there we go. So we get into our main screen. I do have a 32 gigabyte card in here. It comes with a 16, but I went ahead and put in one of my 4K 32s just because I'm going to be running 2 batteries and I want it to have enough video memory. So we can see here we have our first screen with all of our percentages here. It looks like everything's pretty topped off. And I'm just going to go into fly. And there we go. I didn't see any updates. I have it updated with the latest updates. We're going to be recording in 4K 30 frames per second. Just to note real quick, while this thing is like booting up and just getting as many satellites as it can for GPS. In the Apple app and the Android, there's no way I could go from metric to imperial, you know, like meters versus feet. So kind of frustrating about that. I'm hoping that they update Free Flight 6 so, you know, us people in the US, we like our feet and miles. If they can do that, that'll be great. But that's kind of the reason I'm using my phone, is because I was going to use the iPad and it's the same thing. It doesn't look like it's any different in the interface. Anyway, we need to launch, so we're just going to take off real quick, and we can either press take off from the controller or touch the screen to take off. And this thing should start recording in the 4K right when we take off. You can see that when we press 4K, we have HDR. So if I press HDR, see how that kind of brightened it up just on the screen? I'm not recording on the ANAFI yet, but look at that difference when I turn HDR on and that's HDR off. You see how it's just a lot darker without HDR? So I'm going to leave that on for the first battery, and then we'll have it off for the second battery. So here we go. We're just going to press launch. Don't even have to arm the motors or anything. It just arms them automatically, and it looks like it's launching up to what is our height? 1 meter. So it gets up to 1 meter and it just hovers there. All right, cool. So good to go. So let's see what mode this is in. Wow, it is kind of drifting over to the right. Look at this. Okay, not really sure what it's doing, but it just drifted about 6 feet over there to the right. I did do a calibration the last time I was in the park, so I'm not sure what it's doing, but this is how it is behaving. Anyway, let's bring it back over. Maybe that was just kind of an anomaly or something. Let's see if it happens again. I'm gonna hover here right over the launch point, and okay, it looks like it's okay now. So that was kind of weird. Anyway, you can see the stuff we have on the screen. I got my little mini map here. I'm just at the park. Me and Sanaya are in the middle of the park here. I'm gonna track her in just a bit. And we just wanna kind of see how this thing performs. So if we go into our piloting, our speed, we're in film mode. So let's see how fast this thing is if we do yawing and stuff. So look at how incredibly slow that is for yaw. You see how I'm just pushing all the way to the left now? And hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So that's if you want really slow filming. Let's let it kind of go around to get Sanaya. There's our little chair with our umbrella, just in case there's Sanaya there. Hey Sanaya, you want to show Shaka? Okay. And let's see what the roll's like in this cine mode. So full roll to the left. All right. That was about 5 meters per second. Actually about 4 is what it's maxing out at. Letting off, and you can see how it just like locks in its GPS. So that's great. 4 is the same speed, it looks like. Yep, about 4 meters per second. It is locking its height. Look at this, really good. It's using the sonic and the optical flow sensor, letting off again. So it's just stopping itself and doing really good with the GPS. Oh, there goes the umbrella. All right, so what we want to do is switch into sport mode. Now you can see on the bottom of the screen, I've got sport mode. So I'm just clicking sport, and let's see how much faster it is. Here's the yaw. So not much, but a little bit faster. And keep in mind, guys, you can adjust all this stuff in the settings, right? So you can make it as fast or as slow as you want. And here's the forward and reverse speed. Wow, much faster. So we're getting up. Let's see how fast this goes. I don't want to run into anybody. I'll get up a little bit. Look at that thing just speeding by. Wow, so I was going about 10 meters per second there until I stopped. Let's stop it right here. Just full stick off right now. And you can see how much it needs. That was interesting because I saw when it was slowing down, it was doing a little bit of a chatter. So we'll see how the video is on that. In that chatter. Keep in mind, this is HDR. Here's some breeze now. I'm getting some breeze, kind of 5 to 10 blowing from this direction. You can see Sanaya's shirt kind of flapping in the wind. All right, so we want to see what our speed is going up and down. So let's go back into film mode and full throttle up. Look how slow that is. So our full speed. Meanwhile, I'm going to tilt the camera down while we're doing this. Okay. So we're only going about 1 meter per second going up. We'll get the camera all the way down, and we're going to come down. So 1 meter going up, and just about 1 meter per second coming down. We're going to get back down, and then we're going to switch into sport mode and try that same thing. Okay, so letting off, and you can see how it just locks its height as soon as you let off the stick. So really good. Let's go into sport mode and try that again. So sport and full stick up. There we are. Hey guys. 2 meters per second. So again, you can adjust all this. So that's 2 meters per second going up. Full throttle down. Just about the same. 2.5, 2, letting off. Boom. So real good. It's doing excellent. And with this camera, remember, this is the camera that can point all the way up. So let's check out how this gimbal's working. So I've got the trigger all the way up, and check it out, we're just going into the clouds now. So you can check for UFOs in the sky or whatever you want to do, inspect things that you can't normally do with normal drones. So a neat kind of versatile camera here. So 180, it goes all the way down to all the way up. Looks like the gimbal is stabilizing it really good. Say for example, we're up, and if you press this target button on the controller, watch the gimbal. Boom, it just centers to its horizon, so you can get a really easy horizon, quick horizon shot. All right guys, well we want to do some other stuff besides just flying it. I'm going to go back into film mode, and let's do Cameraman, okay? So boom, going into Cameraman, and this one's cool. I really like this one. What we're going to do is film Sanaya in Cameraman mode. Okay, stay right there. We're going to film her in Cameraman. So what you want to do is you just want to like get her in center view. Go up a little bit more. pull back a little bit. Okay, so she's in center view, and draw a rectangle to select a subject. So I'm just gonna draw a rectangle around her. So it's locked onto her. And it's automatically starting to go. So you don't have to press anything like start or accept, kind of like how you have to do with DJI. Go ahead, honey, do your thing. And the cool thing about this is it's kind of like, I believe this is like tripod mode. Yeah, so the ANAFI's not gonna move around. It's just gonna turn and use its gimbal. So same like tripod mode, you would have to yourself, I'm pushing left on the stick, you would have to move the drone around and you don't touch the camera. See what it's doing here? So I'm doing kind of a rotation, circle around point while she's moving. Real simple. I'm full stick to the left. Honey, can you try to go behind me and see if it loses track of you? Just go right close behind me, don't hit my feet. Let's see how it does. If she's, keep going, just go across. Now go to the right. Go that way, slowly. Yeah, so it kept tracking her, so it's gonna have a decent trackability. And I can push forward with the drone, so now I'm going forward with the right stick and kind of following her. And she's gonna try to possibly lose it if you can go really fast. Okay, it's pretty much, let's see if we kind of fly. Just keep going, you don't have to look at the drone. So go that way, real fast, and I'm gonna try to fly over you and see what happens if I get directly over her. You know what I mean? If it's gonna lose track of her. Oh, wow, it's trying to turn. Okay, what's it gonna do? Okay. Okay, let me just go over her, full stick forward, and I'm letting off. All right, see what it's doing? It's turning on its own. Okay, this is great. Parrot figured out how to do that. Of course, I'm not as close as some of the other tests I do, but did you see that? I didn't have to do anything. It turned and it kept track of her. So that's great. All right, so that's working really good. Camera mode, of course, you can adjust the height. Let's try to go just like way out, see if it keeps track of her. We'll go kind of high up and out. Yeah, look at that. So it's still tracking her. So it seems to have a really good tracking sensor, whatever it's doing. It's tracking her really good. And it's keeping it fairly in view. Not bad. Okay, so I think that's enough for that mode. Let's go out of Cameraman. I'm just pressing on Cameraman. It's still going to be in Cameraman apparently until I select something else. Let's see what we can do. Let's try Follow Me, since it's kind of the same thing. Drone signal, device signal. Okay, we're going to only show this page if a requirement is missing. And fly. All right, so we'll come back in and come down. So it's in Follow Me, and I guess I still got to draw a rectangle around myself. So we'll draw that rectangle. It's going to center me, and then basically it's just going to follow. Let's see if we can adjust our height. So I'm pulling down. I'm going to pull back a little. There we go. Yeah, wow, it's sped up too. So it took off like the cinematic film speed restriction, and it seems like I'm going faster now. I can drop quicker a little bit, maybe just a little. Go a little bit more forward. Okay, so this is the Follow Me. So let's just see how good it is at following right at like head height. So I'm just kind of looking at the drone, and what it's doing is it's kind of doing a profile follow. You know what I mean? It's not really turning the head. So it's just fixating itself at its bearing and doing a profile follow. Pretty cool. All right, it's looking good. I'm gonna go a little closer, and then let's try to make it lose track of me. And they do have a little bit of a safety thing, and I can't go any closer than that. Looks like I'm 9 meters away, and I'm pushing forward, and it won't let me go closer. So that's a good safety feature. Got to be 9 meters away. Let's see what happens if we run it up into it like I normally do for these tests. Go this way. Okay, looks like it lost me. Is it gonna reattach? Yeah, so it tried to move and then you saw that box lock back on me. That was pretty cool. Let's try a couple more. Turning around, going forward at it. Okay, so that's how it's working, guys. Pretty good. Not bad. Let's see if we can do that with Sanaya. If I stop this, still recording, and I want to go try to just do follow me for Sanaya. Let's see if it lets us do that. So we'll go put a box around here. Okay, Sanaya, go for it. As fast as you can, wherever you can. So we're still in follow me, but I have the controller, remember? Yeah, so it's working good. Go left. Yep, still tracking her. Looks like it's going up a bit. Still following her though. So I'll have the video up on the screen in the HDR so you guys can see what that looks like. I do see the drone kind of rocking back and forth a little bit. But you'll see the video. Doesn't really matter what the drone's doing as long as the video's perfect, right? Oh, so there's a little limitation. I'm not sure what happened there. It lost track of her. It's trying to back up to find her again. Let's see once she comes in view. No, so it lost her. So maybe, you know, it's gonna have problems sometimes, apparently. And not sure what it's doing. It's kind of moving back into the right. Maybe it's going to the spot where it started. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay, it regained track of her. All right, so you let it sit for a while, it might regain track. So good to know. I think what's happening is it's having trouble with the controller. Remember how it had that 9-meter distance limit for safety? Since I have the controller and it knows where the controller is and it's trying to track her, it's still trying to keep its distance from the controller. So keep that in mind if you're close by with the controller and you're trying to follow me something else. You might have that issue where it's getting confused and doesn't want to hurt the operator. So it's going to try to track but still go around the operator. I think that's what's happening. We did manual flight, cameraman. Let's try some smart dronies before the battery dies on this battery. I'm not gonna show this again because we know we have I'm the target to follow and the area is safe to fly. What's this little arrow here? Can we slide it? Nope, I guess it's gonna target me with the controller. All right, so let's turn around, come on in. We'll try the hand launch with the other one, see if we can do some of these droney shots. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch into sport mode just because I need this thing to go a little quicker and fly a little quicker. It's pretty slow in film mode. Okay, so smart dronies. What can we do? Let's get this way so we don't hit anything. And let's do a smart droney. So smart droney. What do I do? Guess I gotta figure this out. So I'm drawing a box around myself. So apparently you have to do that. Okay. And let's see what other kinds of things we can do. So smart dronies select. There we go. Dolly Zoom and Boomerang. So let's just try a Dolly Zoom first. Boom. Out and in, or out fast. Let's try out fast. Boom. Go. What's it gonna do? Okay, so it's, whoa, that's interesting. It's going back, but it was zooming in on me. That's exactly what it was doing. So that's the Dolly Zoom out. I guess that's one of their special effects. Let's try the Dolly Zoom in and out. There we go. So it's going back, but it's zooming in at me. This is kind of neat. And then it's going to come in and zoom out. All right. So that's what that thing does. And it just finished. So apparently it's doing the effect, and we're going to see how that is. I'll have that up on the screen of how the effect is working, guys. We want to try, the last thing we want to try on Dolly Zoom is the forward one. So let's try that one, pressing forward. Did we try that yet? Maybe we already tried that. Anyway, it's just going out and zooming in. And FYI, it stays out there, so you got to bring it back in. Woo, sport mode coming in quick. Looks like it's already digital zooming. Oh, by the way, that's the digital zoom. So you see that there? So you can zoom in, zoom out. I think it only has about 3 to 4 times digital zoom. And if you zoom in 1.5 times, it's kind of a lossless zoom where you're not going to have the problem. You see the zoom over here on the left side? I'm just pressing it. And if you zoom in about this much, 1.5, your picture's still perfect. But if you go any more in, you get pixelation. Okay, and that's maximum in and maximum out. So that's the zoom feature. We'll test that more on the skate park over there on the next battery. Let's try boomerang. So I'm pressing boomerang, and I want to do a boomerang close. Let's try it. Maybe I should, I don't even know how this thing's going to behave, but we'll try it. We'll just cancel if it has a problem. So it's going to go out. Is it going to clear everything? Okay, so similar to what the Mavic Air can, the Mavic Air can do. It went out and it's doing a boomerang. Although I didn't see the camera doing any like little planet shots. Okay, so that's the boomerang feature. And there's 2 boomerangs. That was the boomerang out short. This is the boomerang out long. Let's get a little bit closer and see how this looks. So pressing the boomerang out to the right one, the boomerang out long. And it's gonna go out again. Testing, testing, 1, 2. See how far it goes. Yeah, so this one's just going further. So it's just a selfie in and out shot. That's what they're calling this boomerang. It's not turning or anything, but look how far it's going. It's wow, it's went 65 meters away and it's coming back in. Okay, and that's what we can expect. Again, guys, I'll have the HDR 4K footage up so you can see how that looks. Woo-hoo! Sanaya's over there underneath the umbrella. She's getting bored, so we better hurry up. All right, we got 14% power left. You know what? That is all I want to do for this battery. Let's do a return to home and see if it can land, how close it can land to that point. So we did the first 3 and we did follow me. So we're going to do touch fly and flight plan in the next battery and some more options. Okay, so for this one, we'll just go out of here. Whoop, I went all the way out. Let's go back into fly. And I'm going to press return to home 1 time. I pressed it quickly. Looks like I got to press and hold maybe. Let's fly out a little further maybe. Over here. Try that again. Okay. Let's try that again. Return to home. Okay, you got to be a little farther away from yourself. So this is it in return to home. It's coming on back. It's going up at 2 meters per second. And so this is a limitation with this one, guys. They need to fix this. It only can go 20 meters high for return to home. So they need to give you a little more height if you wanted it. Let's pitch the camera down so we can see kind of where we're landing. Wow, it thinks I'm the return to home. Okay. Pushing up. I didn't want it to return to me, but that's what it's doing. That was interesting. What if I push return to home again? Let's pick this camera up and hitting return to home again. So it's thinking, okay, so I'm returned to home. So make sure when you hit return to home, you want it to come back to you. That's actually could be a good feature. I don't see why anybody would want anything else unless you didn't want to be at the spot where it's returning. So apparently I don't think you can change that either. And once it gets to this height, which is actually perfect because it was about 6-7 feet high, and you know that's going to basically allow it to not hit anybody's heads unless they're super tall, and just hover there and it's going to wait for you to land it. So you can either come down manually. Let's see how close we can get manually. It stops right there. So I'm holding the stick down and now it's landing. Okay, I'm not sure if it did that because the battery is only 3% or I would have had to press landing otherwise. But anyway, that's how it did with the first battery. Pretty cool. It stopped recording automatically. You don't have to worry about it. One press turns it off. I'm gonna pop in that second battery and we'll try those last few functions, and then we'll try doing that in non-HDR mode, and we'll try some pictures of the skate park over here and a couple more things. Okay guys, so second battery is in. You can see that the controller is at 82% power, so that's how much it uses, about approximately 20% of the controller on one battery of flight. And by the way, we'll have the flights up on these batteries so you can see how long these are lasting up until the percentage we flew. That first battery I tested, I think I've flown that one about 3 or 4 times. This second one, this is actually the first time it's flown, so it'll give you an idea of how it's doing. You can see that we ate up quite a bit of that SD card. Look at that, I only have 12.3 gigabytes left from that HDR. So I think the HDR is going to eat up like a whole 16 gigabyte card they give you in the box for one flight. So keep that in mind. Maybe put in a bigger one if you want. I think it can go up to about 128 gigs on this one. Okay, so we want to get back up in the air, so we're going to go fly again. I am recording the screen again for you guys, and I want to do this flight in non-HDR, so I'm turning HDR off. And you can see how that darkened that up. Maybe I'll turn it off and on when we're over taking pictures of the skate park. Let's do a screen launch this time. So right off the screen, pressing takeoff, it immediately starts up the motors and takes off. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's see if it does that wander thing again on this this launch. Let it hover there just for a few seconds. You can see how it's launching to 1 meter. So I'm not sure if I really like that. I would have liked it to go maybe 6-7 feet, just in case. I mean, you know, people are in the vicinity on this height, so for safety reasons I would have liked to see these kind of drones launch to about 6 feet, just to be safe. Let's go take a view, some video of the West Maui Mountains. A little bit cloudy and hazy today. You can see that over there. I wonder if it'll stay recording if we switch into HDR mode. Let's just try it. So I'm recording in non-HD, pressing HD. Oh, there we go. Okay, it stopped recording. So I'm gonna need to record again. And this is HD of that same shot. And look, it just brightens everything up. Pretty amazing. Okay, if I press HDR again, sorry, not HD, HDR. It stopped recording and now it's going back into non-HDR. So you can't do it on the fly when you're recording, you have to stop, FYI. Cool, so we'll go back into our piloting modes. We did cameraman, we did smart dronies, we didn't do touch to fly. Let's try this. So I'm gonna press touch to fly. Okay, interesting. So this one does a designation on the Google Maps. Okay. And what we want to do, we can't even see the skate park yet in Google Maps, but we just want to do press and hold to choose a point of interest, or just touch to touch and fly. Cool. So say I touch and fly here. It's automatically going there at 8 meters high, the height it was already. And it's flying pretty quick. It's flying at 5 meters per second. So it's gonna go to the middle of that park. And I can see on the bottom right, you see the window there? Okay, I can see in the window on the right my FPV while it's going and flying. That's cool. Okay, let me just turn it to get this skate park in view. So this is, remember, this is non-HDR. I'm gonna go up in some elevation, tilt the camera down a bit. I want to go up high enough so if I do a point of interest kind of thing, I'm not going to hit anything around me. I think that should be high enough. So I'm looking at my video on the right, and I'm going to press, let's see, I can't really see the skate park because there's no image of it because it's brand new in here. So I'm going to kind of just guess where it is, and I'm just going to press and hold on the screen there. That didn't really work too good. And I can't tilt the gimbal up and down. So maybe a little bit weird. Let's press and hold here. Point of interest. Interesting. Can we go up and down with our point of interest? Yes, we can. Okay, so you see that little scroll wheel slider actually on the right. You slide that and it will point the camera up and down. I'm locked out of my gimbal adjustment manually. Okay. So let's try this again. Let me stop that point of interest, and I want to yaw the drone around to the skate park. Let's try that one more time. Okay, and let's go back up a little bit higher. Okay, so I'm pretty far away and high now, 36 meters. I'm pretty far away from it. All right, let's try this a little bit higher up. I'm just afraid to hit stuff around me. Okay, let's try it. So I'm gonna hold right here where I think the skate park is. So it levels out the camera, FYI, and then you have to press this slider down. See that there? There we go. Point of interest, there we are, okay. And now let's try to rotate the craft, roll it to the left. So I'm full stick to the left. So here's a way you can do a pretty good point of interest. You see how it's getting out because I don't see the thing on the map, so it's hard for me to center it. Let me see if I kind of click and drag this point of interest. No, it just makes a new point of interest. And then I have to pull down on this wheel again. So a little bit weird that you can't use the gimbal control for this point of interest function. But you know, it still works. So in this case, you know what you should do is instead of using this point of interest, you can still do it. Let's just see how it comes out. Full rotation to the left. So instead of using this type of point of interest, you see how it's not perfectly centered? Only use this if you have it on the Google map where you can really see it. Instead of using this, I'm going to use this. Watch this. We're going to go out of here, the touch to fly, and we're going to go to Cameraman. This is what you want to use for something like this. Let's just draw a box around the center of this. See how it tracks that. And we're just going to roll it to the left. So I'm full speed to the left in sport mode. So use Cameraman if you wanted to do like a point of interest, you know what I mean, and keep it pretty well centered. Maybe use this function. Seems to be a little bit better. It's working pretty well. Let me redraw a box and center that real quick. Bigger box. There we go. Back to the left, full stick to the left. We're at 73% power. And again, guys, I'll have that up on the screen. See how the video and stuff is. I'm going to switch into HDR mode with this and see what the difference is. Wow, okay, so we can just press that little menu there. Pressing HDR. Again, it's going to stop recording. And I'm going to start recording again. Boom. And we're going to go press down on that. We're still in Cameraman, so it's waiting for a command. And I'm going to redraw the box around the center of this park. Let's adjust it just a little bit. Stop. Okay, stop. And I'm just going to adjust the center. Now keep in mind, guys, this is HDR. Is it? Yes, it is. Still HDR. Okay. And again, closing that, and then box around the skate park. Let's do an HDR center around point to the right. Let's see how good this tracks this skate park. Okay. I want to go up in altitude, so I'm pushing up with my, whoop, looks like we're losing some range on this guy. I want to point it in the right direction. So I'm pushing up in altitude. We're going up in altitude, 50 meters. Okay. And I'm just full stick to the right. It looks like the wind's hitting it a little. I'm seeing a little bit of swayage in that circle around point, but it's doing fairly well. Of course, you could go slower. Let's bring that down in speed a little bit. Now I'm about half stick to the right. Wind is actually pretty radical up there. I can kind of feel it. We'll do that in about 5 meters per second. I'm just adjusting it with my stick manually. All right, cool. What we'll do is while we're doing this to the right, I'm going to come in forward a little bit, and I'm going to bring it down. And let's see how well it is at doing kind of manual circle around point. I am seeing some rock and sway in that camera, so maybe that's just kind of limitations to you know, how light this drone is, who knows. Okay, so that's as close as I want to get because there's some trees there. I'm just going to kind of continue rotating around, and then we'll try something else real quick. We'll try some pictures in just a second. Getting some errors on range, so I'm saying move your drone closer. I'm adjusting my controller a little bit. Oh, this is weird. It's like my controller thinks it's kind of off. Oh well. Anyway, there you go. I'll have the video up to see how that is in HDR. We want to go to picture mode, so we press this button here for pictures and videos. Okay, so we want to get out of here. You see how I'm trying to press photo and pictures? It's saying draw a rectangle, so I don't want to be in this mode anymore. So I want to get out of cameraman, and I just want to go manual. So make sure you do that. Otherwise you can't switch to photos. So I just switched to photo, and I'm just using the manual right trigger button, pressing it once. I'll have these photos pop up on the screen here. So 2 photos in regular HD, and can we do HDR? Photo mode, single or timer. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any HDR photos, just for video, unless I'm missing something. There's style here. You can change the style. JPEG direct. Those are your options on photos. So what we'll do is we'll just get a couple more photos here. I'm gonna go forward right over it. It's zooming around now pretty quick. Interestingly, if you look at the screen, the photo isn't really stabilized. That's interesting. That shows you how it's using digital stabilization with the ANAFI, like other Parrot drones. Since I'm in photo mode, you saw that little bit of wobble in the video, only on the tablet, since it's just recording its picture mode. Let's take another couple photos here. So photo, as we're going up, we're gonna start taking some photos. Photo, going up, photo, going up. So I'm full throttle up, and I'm just taking photos as I'm going full throttle up, okay? I'll have those photos popping up on the screen. Still got 50% power, wow. I'm surprised we still got that much power. So this should be the entire construction site right here of the whole skate park. I'm gonna stop here, and we're gonna take another photo. Cool, so what else do we wanna do? You know what we want to do is zoom. Okay, so I'm going to start recording video again, and for this one we'll go back into video. Let's wait for the screen to go into video mode, see how it goes into widescreen, and we're going to go into, press our 4K, and we're going to go into HDR. Okay, remember that resets everything, and you got to start recording again. Boom. So recording in HDR, and we want to try this zoom feature of this camera. So there's the skate park, and I'm just going to press zoom all the way forward, and that's its maximum. So it is quite smooth at zooming, and of course we can still fly while we're zoomed in. I'm pushing forward a bit on the stick. So if you need to, for whatever reason, you can zoom in on things. And keep in mind, it's only actually a 3-time zoom, but it does have a nice smooth type of zoom, and I think this is what they use for their selfie effects. Remember that Boomerang, or what was that, like a cable cam zoom thing they had. So zooming all the way out very slowly, and that's our maximum pulled back zoom there. One thing to note really quick is I'm going to go into options, and check this out. For our camera, you see how it says lossless zoom only in the center here? I'm going to press yes. And watch what happens when we have yes on lossless zoom when I try to zoom in now. So I'm going to zoom in. Nothing's happening. Okay. Maybe you can't do it in HDR. Let's stop HDR. So 4K, HDR off. And let's try that. Okay, yeah, so we can do it when our video's not recording, up to 1.4 times. Let's try it when our regular HD is recording. Zooming in. There we go. Okay, so you can't do lossless zoom in HDR, just regular zoom. Nice. All right, well that's that's pretty much everything I wanted to test. Let's see if there's anything else we need to do here while we're recording in high definition. I'm gonna go down back to the menu. Oh, we forgot CineShots and flight plan. So let's do a flight plan really quick. So we'll go into flight plan. There's our park, and it's just the basic same Parrot Disco, not Disco, but Parrot Bebop flight plan. I guess Disco too, very similar. Is wherever the drone's at, you just start plopping your points, and you can adjust your height of each point. See the slider on the side here? Since we're already at 85 meters high, wait a minute, are we that high? Jesus, that's pretty high, huh? We'll just do it, let's actually do it back to our park. So let's see if we press back here. Okay, see the back arrows? We can just delete those, or we can click and hold them to delete those as well. So we'll go and we'll just do a quick flight plan in the park where we're at, just in case. And it's gonna just be at 3 meters high. I'm just gonna pop a few points around here, just so you guys know, how it's gonna go. Of course, I definitely want to kind of fly it back. So let's get away from the skate park and come down. I'm way up there right now, aren't I? Okay, where am I? I'm in this park down here. Let's come on back. Again, we are in sport mode, I think. So pretty cool. You can use the little video on the right to fly around and kind of position yourself. No problem. Coming down, just trying to get in our park so we don't accidentally hit anything. Okay. Okay, so we're here. So I'm gonna pick the camera up. We're still recording, and I believe this is regular HD. Let's just start this flight plan that I just popped out. We can zoom in and out by just zooming in on the screen like you would normally. Let's just play it. This last one, I'm clicking on it, see that? And then I'm gonna push the right slider up to 24 meters, and let's just start it. We're starting that flight plan. And it's just gonna run through it. The drone's gonna fly to the first one, and it's gonna go down to 3 meters. You see that? So it went down real quick, actually. And wow, that doesn't look like 3 meters. That looks like 2 meters or 1 meter. So be wary of that, the altitude discrepancy. And then it's just gonna go up to 24 meters, and it finished its flight plan. And so keep in mind, it looks like it's gonna come down after it finishes. Let's see what it does. See if there was a tree under there, watch out. Wow, so it finished its flight plan and it just landed. Okay, so be careful of that. I didn't see any adjustments for that. Let's see if we click and hold on the 24, edit. Oh crap, free flight has crashed. Okay, so that's the first crash I've ever had. Let's try that again. Let's launch, and let's try some of these CineShots. So we're gonna go back in the fly. Recording stopped. Let's go ahead and launch. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. A little bit dangerous maybe in flight plan. We're still in sport. Okay, let me try some of these CineShots. So we're just gonna point to us. We only have 20% battery left, so we better hurry up. So what I'd recommend is the ending of your flight plan, put it back to your home point, just in case it decides to land like it did with me. You don't want that to land somewhere when you just finish your flight plan. That could be very dangerous. Let's switch back to HDR, just because it gives us a little brighter image. Let's just see how it works. It looks a little weird with the screen, but let's just see how it works. Okay, pressing down arrow. CineShots, select. Let's do a reveal. So boom, reveal. And reveal forward and up. Let's do it. So is it flying forward? Yeah, so you see that? It's automatically doing this. It's flying forward and just picking up the camera very slow. And it's cool that it's flashing on the screen, kind of showing you what it's doing. And then let's see when it's going to stop. There we go. So that's what you can expect from that one. The other one, I want to kind of go a little further out towards the ocean. We're going to do another reveal, and we're going to do a little further. You see how on the right one is a further and reveal, so it's going to fly further and faster. And let's see what it does. It should start to pick itself up. Not much interest in the grass here, but once it picks itself up, there we go. So it's picking itself up, and it's doing a reveal, still flying forward, and it's going to stop. Okay, so that's what you can expect from that. Let's do a rise. Oh, we're almost dead on our power. Let's do a rise real quick. So boom, we'll go way up and rise. So I'm just pressing it. It's doing this by itself. It's putting the camera facing down. So at least you have these automatic shot functions if you don't really know how to, you know, push up on the throttle and have a smooth reveal. It won't do this. Look at this. So on the bottom, 1 minute before auto return home. So it's warning us. So it does have a smart kind of return home. It's telling us in 1 minute it's going to come back because it's calculating its distance. So apparently, is it doing this on its own, or is it flying back on its own? Okay, so it's returning home. So it looked like that was part of its reveal, and it's still stuck in reveal. Anyway, wow. So it's returning home down there where I launched that second time. I don't know what happened the last time. So maybe they need to like kind of figure that out. I'm going to cancel that. I just pressed to the right with a yaw and it canceled it because I want to come back. So we'll talk about this in the pros and cons right after this. Whoa, what's it doing? Okay, it just was turning on its own there. I wanted to just land right here. Okay, so I'm above my landing point. Say I'm not comfortable with pulling down on the controller and landing. I just want to get close as possible. You can also press this button here or press the screen land. So I'm going to press the controller button and it's going to land right there. Cool, and then stop the video. So anyways, flight time will be popping up on the first and second flight. Let me stop the screen recording and we'll talk about the pros and cons of the new ANAFI and what we all tested today. All right guys, so there we have it. We gave the ANAFI a really good in-depth test today. A couple of things I wasn't able to finish testing. Some of those cine modes, like there was a 360 mode, and what that would have been was just you click on it and you have like a center point, press play, and it's just going to do an automatic 360 around a center point one time, kind of like what they have with the Bebop. But I think pretty much everything else we tested today with this little light, tiny little drone, and it did pretty well. It seemed like, remember when we first launched, it was actually drifting that way. So I'm not sure what was happening. Maybe there's some issue with it tracking on grass. And with that bottom optical camera, maybe it was just having some problems. We kind of had that issue where it was trying to return to home where I was that one time. I think what's happening there is maybe if you're within a certain vicinity of home and you try to do a return to home, maybe it'll just land within like that 50-foot radius, kind of like some of the other drones. And then you saw that second time where I did the flight plan and it landed at the end of the flight plan over there. And then when I was doing my thing in another mode, it wanted to go back to that second launch point. So keep in mind, for some reason I thought I was returning to the controller, but apparently not. We didn't get any upward facing really camera shots. What I wanted to do was maybe get over to that light over there above the tennis court and just get right under it and inspect it. And that's kind of another feature this thing could be used for, is to really just inspect things from underneath that no other drone can really do in this price range and how small and light this is. So maybe in another video we'll do that, but as you can imagine, it's just the same thing. It stabilizes the video and it's going to go right up and it's just going to video and focus in on a subject just like it would if it was forward or down. As far as the other stuff goes, guys, those kind of new feature shots like that camera cable zoom thing, I've had those up on the screen so you guys can see those and see how well it is. Of course, all the flight time and stuff. So just a couple minor gripes as far as cons go. Return to home altitude looks like it's fixed at 20 meters, so they really need to fix that. If I was flying over this tree here, this looks like it might be over 20 meters. That's like 70 feet or something high. And I just went kind of around it, and I was over there. If it couldn't go higher than 20 meters, if I came down, you know, beyond the tree and it was coming back, since this doesn't have any obstacle avoidance, it would have hit that tree if that tree was 20 meters or higher. So they need to allow you to be able to adjust your return to home altitude. That's one of the major flaws I'm seeing here, and I'm sure they'll do hopefully an update on that as soon as possible. As far as the other camera functions, the HDR, really cool. It gave us like a much brighter, crisper picture. I've had that up on the screen too. The zoom is kind of a neat, you know, a neat feature if you really wanted to use that. I think it's only 3x zoom, so not major. But it does work and it's smooth. A little concern is maybe the craft and a little bit of wind. I was seeing it flutter a little bit, and you'll see how the video was reacting to that flutter as we were flying fast and stuff. It's really cool how you can adjust your sport mode and your camera film mode as much as you want. You can slide those sliders to get just your perfect tuned in type of control for what you wanted to do. The Cameraman cinema mode, really good, because you can just lock in a subject and you can fly the thing however you want and it will lock that subject in. So I think that is really good mode, and some of the drones are actually lacking that, where you can just, you know, optically lock in a center point and then fly the drone however you want. So that's a great thing that this has. Really pretty enjoyable little drone. I think maybe the price is a little high right now. I think it's $700. So I'm thinking maybe if they can bring this down to like a $500 price, they would really have something flying off the shelves, because look how compact this is and how fast it is to just close up. It's super light. I mean, this right here, this is only weighing with the battery in it. This is like 250, 300 grams. Just amazingly light. This one seems to start up and turn off just by one press. So that's a little bit scary to me, because if you're handling it or you have it in your backpack or something, of course it's good to keep it in this case, but say you lost the case or something and you just have it like in your backpack, one little press, let's see what it does. If it's folded up like this, one little press and it turns on. See that? So it could be, you could be backpacking and it accidentally touches something really quick, turns on, and that thing is in your backpack turned on like that forever. So I think they should probably do something, and you see the gimbal's even going to try to go and do its thing, and everything actually starts up with with the arms folded up. So I think maybe they need to do an update to do like a press and hold, or like a long press. And that kind of gets us to the controller and the bag. You have this great little compact package, this bag for the ANAFI, but then it's like, where do I put my controller, right? So you can close this up, and look how compact and awesome that is. The drone and all of its peripherals fit in here except the controller. But I mean, these things are just straps for like your backpack or something. And if you were to put this on your backpack, you'd have to have some other kind of clamp to really hold that on there, because you're not going to, you know, I guess you could take off your strap it through and rebuckle your strap if you wanted to. But I think it would have been awesome if they just had some kind of little thing where you could kind of clip on or attach the controller, or an extra little bag that came in the box that was similar to this, that would just like link together. You know what I mean? So you didn't have to have these two things loose. That's my only gripe about this controller. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid controller. It's very compact and solid, and all the functions and buttons worked great. Oh, and one more thing, guys, I should mention is you actually don't have to take out your SD card to pull your files off. When you put the battery on and you plug in your USB-C type connector in here, plug that into your laptop or whatever device you have to transfer the files, and you can actually pull them off, but it seems like it's limited to about 20 megabyte per second, whereas if you did take this card out, I can transfer at maybe like 90 megabytes per second. So you're limited if you do it this way. You know, you basically just put your battery in, turn the craft on, and when you plug in, it's just like another drive, and you can you can get the files off your battery. It's just a bit slower, but that might be a good way to do it if you don't mind waiting on the file to transfer, just so you're not like messing with this card, because this is a slightly sensitive device here, because you can lose this door if you pop it open like this. Just really be careful getting this card out. You know what I mean? See how gentle I'm just being with the door and the whole mechanism. But definitely possible. Just be very, very gentle with it. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that first in-depth review. We ran 2 batteries through it, went through a lot of functions. I'm going to be doing some range tests in this urban area, see how far we can get in some interference like this. And I'm also going to be taking it up in the wilderness, up on the mountain, and we're going to be doing full-on rural range tests, see how far we can get with it as well. So stay tuned, more to come. And don't forget, I'll have this links in the description down below of where you can find the Parrot ANAFI if you're interested in it. And I'll see you in the next review. Thanks for watching. All right, honey, you want to go get some ice cream? Hey, thanks for your help. High five. All right, let's go get some treats.